There is a version of you that has never raised its voice, never fought back, never pushed hard against anything. And you call that person good. But ask yourself honestly, is it goodness? Or is it simply that you were never tested? Because here is the thing no one in your life will say to your face. A dog that has never bitten anyone is not kind. It is either old or it is afraid. Kindness from a creature that cannot harm you is not a gift. It is the only option available. Today is about a different kind of person, the one who developed the capacity and then chose restraint. That choice, conscious, earned, costly, is what separates real integrity from performance. By the end, you will understand why becoming dangerous is the prerequisite for becoming genuinely good. In the winter of 1888, Friedrich Nietzsche wrote something his critics have spent a century misreading. He described the higher man, not as someone who rises above force by being incapable of it, but as someone who has looked directly into the depths of what he could become, and governs it. Nietzsche called this sublimation. The fire does not go out. It is redirected. It heats something instead of burning everything. He was not describing a brute. He was describing a man who knows the weight of what he carries, the anger, the drive, the hunger, and holds it like a blade, pointed deliberately, never carelessly. The core thesis is this: harmlessness from weakness is not virtue. It is incapacity dressed in moral language. Real morality, the kind that costs something, requires the capacity for force held consciously under control. Capability plus restraint equals integrity. That is what we are building toward. Law 1. You cannot genuinely choose what you cannot do. The word restraint implies something being held back, something real, with its own momentum. You cannot restrain a river that is not flowing. The act of restraint only means something when there is real force behind it. This is why the person who has never hardened themselves, when they say, "I chose not to fight," has not chosen anything. The option was not available. Contrast that with someone who trained for years, who has stood in real pressure and learned to stay level. When that person chooses not to fight, that is a decision with weight behind it. The same logic applies everywhere. You cannot choose patience when you have no alternative and call it discipline. Choice requires options. Develop the capability first, then the choice becomes real. And only then does it mean something. Law 2. The world reads capability before it reads intention. People will not see your values. What they read instantly before a word is spoken is signal, presence, whether something behind your eyes suggests you could handle pressure. Marcus Aurelius understood this. He led 16 years of near-constant military campaigns not because he sought war. His private journals show he found it repellent, but because Rome's stability depended on the credibility of its strength. He did not pretend to be a soldier. He became one. He rode with his legions. He wintered near the frozen Danube. He made his capability visible not as a threat, but as a fact. Because the capability was real, his restraint carried authority. When Marcus chose to negotiate instead of destroy, enemies believed the choice was deliberate, not weakness, a decision. Your restraint only communicates something when people sense it is not your only available response. Build the signal first, then let your choices speak. Law 3. Anger you have not mastered will master you. Many people misread this thesis. They hear develop capacity for force and think permission to be aggressive. That is exactly backwards. You must develop capacity for confrontation, for sharp truth-telling, for holding ground, so that when the moment comes, you are not reacting. You are responding. A reaction is reflexive. It belongs to whatever triggered it, not to you. A person driven by their anger, that anger is in control, not the person. A response is chosen. It comes from someone who has sat with their own fire long enough to understand it. Epictetus, born into chains, beaten in his youth, did not become harmless by suppressing what he felt. He became formidable by understanding it so thoroughly that nothing external could use it against him. Train the fire, know its temperature, then decide what it heats and what it never touches. Law 4. Softness chosen from strength looks entirely different from softness born from fear. You have met both types. You know the difference. The person who is gentle because they fear conflict radiates appeasement, a held breath, a readiness to agree before you finish your sentence. It is accommodation, not generosity. Now think of the person who is quiet, measured, who does not need to dominate but clearly could. Their softness lands differently. It feels like a gift. Because it is. They are choosing your comfort when they could choose their own advantage. When you are genuinely capable, your gentleness becomes a form of respect. It says, I see you. You are not a threat. I am choosing this. Not because I have no other option, but because you matter more to me right now than being right. That is a statement only the capable can make. Law 5. The most dangerous person in any room is the one who has nothing left to prove. People still building a reputation are reactive. They escalate because their internal security depends on external wins. Now watch someone who has done the work, who has tested themselves in real conditions and come through something, who knows what they are made of, not because someone told them, but because they found out. That person does not need the argument, does not need the last word. Seneca wrote to Lucilius, "The wise man is sufficient unto himself." He did not mean isolated. He meant internally complete, capable of meeting any condition without requiring it to be different. This self-sufficiency is only possible when you have built something real inside. You need the reps, the confrontations handled cleanly, the discomfort entered without flinching, the moments where you could have lashed out and did not. Each one is a deposit, and at some point the account is full enough that you stop needing to make withdrawals from the world around you. Now here is the turn that reframes everything. This is not about becoming hard. It is about becoming honest. The lie most people are living, without knowing it, is that they have achieved something moral by remaining weak, that their passivity is evidence of character. It is not. It is the most comfortable story available to someone who has not done the work. Real goodness is not the floor. It is the ceiling. It requires something built under it, capacity, trial, the actual experience of temptation, and the choice made against it. The person who became dangerous and then chose not to be, that is the person whose restraint you can actually trust. You know it is real. You know it cost them something. You know it is a decision renewed every single day. That kind of goodness does not need to announce itself. It stands still, and everything around it knows it. So here is where you are left, not with permission to be aggressive, with a question. Are you choosing restraint, or are you simply incapable of the alternative? Because the answer matters more than almost anything else you could know about yourself. If it is incapacity, the path forward is clear. Build. Enter the pressures you have been avoiding. Develop the capacity that gives you actual options, not so you can use force carelessly, but so that when you choose not to, it means something. Integrity is not the absence of edges. It is the mastery of them. Virtue is not weakness that has never been tested. It is strength that has been tested and directed. Become capable, then choose who you are.